No.
Yeah, but what about afterwards, when they could see people again?
Well,
Yeah, actually, you know what?
You can go in, we still have to wear masks.
We had worse outbreaks when they couldn't go in. Than when they could. They were getting.
6:30, we'll call this meeting to order. The Township of Black River Madison acknowledges the Abitibi and Sanipic Nation, traditional territory. We live, play, and work together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. Just a reminder to attendance, all in attendance at the council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township website for review. And mover and a seconder, Councillor Brewer and Councillor Gatter.
Moved by Councillor Brewer, seconded by Councillor Gattari, that the agenda for the regular council meeting of April 11th, 2023 be approved as printed.
All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried. Is there a disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none? We'll move along. Okay, need a mover and a seconder again for the adoption of the minutes. We got Councillor Gattari and Councillor Rondo.
Moved by Councillor Gattari and seconded by Councillor Rondo, that the following minutes are hereby adopted. Minutes of a regular council meeting held March 28th, 2023. Minutes of a special council meeting held March 29th, 2023, and the minutes acknowledged are the minutes of a community adjustment meeting held March 28th, 2023.
Any questions or concerns? Yes, Councillor Dyer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One quick question. The committee of adjustment. It says here that Gary Quigley was present. I don't remember Gary Quigley being.
He wasn't, so if he's present, that's an error.
Going to be corrected. You're on top of it. I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know.
Excuse me, those minutes have not been done, but committee adjustment. They will pick that.
Thank you, Councillor Bannon. Investment. All those in favor of the resolution as amended? Seeing no objections, carried. Items the consent agenda. We're just going to go that, I guess, eh?
Yes.
Mover to seconder again, Councillor Brewer and Councillor Neal.
Moved by Councillor Brewer, seconded by Councillor Neal, be it resolved that the consent agenda items as listed on the April 11th, 2023 council agenda be received as the motions contained therein be approved and reported as listed below.
Any questions or concerns? All those in favor of the resolution? No objections, carried. No delegations, no new business. So we'll move on to reports. Is there, did you want to speak on your report, Chris?
Need a mover and a
Oh,
second.
sorry, yeah, move in a second, please, Councillor George and Councillor Gatter.
Moved by Councillor Brewer, seconded by Councillor Gattari. That council proceed with recommendation number 3 as reflected in report CAO 2023-09. To direct staff to research the information and costs to move forward with tiny homes. And that the Tiny Town Association be invited for a presentation. And that staff contact the city of Timmins in regards to technical aspects and planning matters.
Speak on that or you want to speak?
I think that, well, no, I think one of the things I want to say is that I got an additional piece of correspondence from the time most folks is getting on the financial aspect. They have some funding available that they are in through CBC. And so that'll be part of our sort of as we gather more information. They came after the school board. So frankly, as the this is a good option for us to look at. As an alternative to regular homes. It's not for everybody. But all the housing that we have in Blackbird. I think it's a really cool idea. You know, essentially the two hectares you're getting, I think 12 to 20 homes depending on how they think it's so. At this point, it's a decision rather than you give a vision direction and myself. That if we do go ahead, our official plan is signed up the issue. Although there are some policies within the plan that support it, I feel like that we would need an official plan amendment. We certainly need this in as well on the particular piece of property. So if there's any other questions, we can answer them.
Any questions in particular from council on the issue? See, oh, I didn't see council.
Is this property like including different sites throughout the township?
No, it's gonna be one site to begin with. As I said, about 2.2 there.
Okay.
And so all the homes will be on there, they will be capped into sewer and water, et cetera. It's kind of a unique situation because each home is not subdivided, if you know what I mean. It's all one piece of land, so it's taxed owned by some nonprofit that gives up the taxes and whatnot. I was more looking at it from the perspective of making options for folks in the form I was just as an option.
Yes, council.
Are we looking to rent these or sell them? Like, are people gonna buy them or?
I think the option, Councilor Gary, is open for both of those things. It would be up to the nonprofit association and what they would do. I mean, I would rather see people own than rent, simply because they have that additional attachment to the building, right? So, but we'll see how it plays out. And at some point, we'll have the tiny homes folks come and do a presentation as well. But you know, again, these are like apartments, if you will, that are located on specific lots. Right? So it's a good use of the land. So it's a cool concept, and it's catching on around across the nation. You can see, you know, from the pictures of it, right, too, that they're quite tasteful in terms of what they instruct.
Councilor Neil?
Your worship, just a question. When you just mentioned that it would be a non-for-profit, the land would be under non-for-profit, how does that affect tax rates for individuals who know difference?
No difference. Except as I mentioned, it's not a planned subdivision. So if you look at the 2.2 hectares, it gets taxed as the 2.2 hectares.
So would that be a disadvantage for us in the reality?
No, I don't think so. Because the piece of property that each individual tiny home sits on is so small that you're not going to subdivide and tax it. The only caveat to that I'm going to offer is my understanding of the OPP fund building model is that if you have a trailer park and you have 50 mobile homes in the trailer park and you have them subdivided, the township gets taxed that is billed for 50 charges from the OPP. That would be some. That would be a caveat, but everything else is pretty much the same.
Any further questions from councilors? I just have one question, but I think Councilor Gaddery actually probably asked the question regarding the rental. I was going to wonder if any of this would be suitable even for short-term housing or like for that kind of purpose.
It could, I mean, people could buy them and get rented out. We'll have to wait and see how the nonprofit is
How it
constructed. The devil's in the details with these things, right? But regardless, to turn our back on this opportunity, I think it would be not in conjunction with the way we actually develop community. We're going to have different types of housing building for different folks.
Council Rondo?
Being that would these homes would be suitable for a single lot,
That's probably a waste of the land.
but if somebody wanted to build one,
Yeah, they could be.
if a lot of people are getting into this tiny home thing.
You wouldn't want to see a whole community.
No, but I mean, like, say like Raymore, Hopewell, Badlands, they got like these empty lots, they're single lots.
Yeah.
But there's something already going next door, they can't buy a double lot. It'd be a perfect place to put a tiny home if they
Yeah.
wanted.
It could be done.
Okay.
Uh,
It just gives them. a
It's all in the
bigger yard.
zone, it's all in the zone.
Yeah,
So right now, our official plan. Has some supporting policies that doesn't speak specifically to it. It talks about what are termed granny flats, which essentially is a supplementary. Building on a lot with a house, usually for, new lawns and.
yeah.
And they need more. These are.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the permanent ones, because those are taking off like crazy, and if that takes off. People might want to not be in the community themselves and want to do it. I know a few like in multi that need it, probably buying a piece of property just
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Just,
And there'd be nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
It all goes part and parcel of trying to
yeah,
do some other adjustments that we're going to do. I think these, if they're well kept up. They're a nice thing for folks,
absolutely.
and particularly if you're single. Or even if you're an older couple, there's enough space in them.
Any other questions from council? Any other further comments, Chris?
I'm sorry, they have this smart hub center.
Yeah, so what that is sort of a mini, I'm gonna call it a mini community center. Right, so you get 12 houses there, they got this little gathering area that we can go.
Like a common.
Yeah, it is exactly what it's like. It's like, but the devil's in the detail, what is the type of thing that's gonna be constructed in a particular market. So we've got a ways to go before we get there just.
So I guess our next step is to see if they're willing to make a presentation.
Yeah, I'll get back to the fellow at the time, association there, and he was very anxious on this to come into the cases.
That's very, very, very important. Thanks, Chris. I tend to agree that there's always more than one option, right?
There is. Absolutely.
There's nothing further on that. We'll move on to item B, which is the whole tire, oh, sorry, I didn't realize that motion on the table to accept the report, right?
That wasn't just to accept, there's also to provide directions.
Okay, did you already read that?
I didn't.
Okay, no, we don't need to read it. And all those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried. Sorry, Cass.
No, it's okay.
Started babbling for that, whatever. it is. So now we can move on to our whole tire water system. The water. Over to seconder again. And Councillor Rondo and Councillor Brewer.
Moved by Councillor Rondo, seconded by Councillor Drewer, that council receives full tire DWS 2022-2023 inspection report as information.
Any questions or concerns regarding the report? Actually, the report looks better than I was expecting. Yes, Councillor Knapp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess Chris Giroux is not available to answer questions then, or?
Yes. Madam Clerk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, so Mr. We did not ask for any offer representatives to be here tonight. Should you have any questions on members of council? We can always defer the item and invite them to an upcoming meeting. Or we can direct your questions directly to them and bring your answers back.
Yes, Councilman.
We're just about the report. On one of the segments, again, it talks about the results of water quality manganese as part of being nutritionally an essential element, and it's been linked to neurological effects. And if it was there, I missed the meeting with Chris Chiraka. Have they, what is the fix? Did everyone see the fix on this? Is there anything that Aqua said about this particular issue?
Regarding the magnesium, I guess that's the question I'll have to direct back to Chris. Okay, wait, Chris. Yeah, Chris.
So the limits are within provincial limits for now, so we're not overly concerned right now. My concern is that the Aqua had some discussions with public health on this. Unbeknownst to us. So now the public health is now on Aqua to provide them with a backup data with the levels that they're taking. So what I didn't want to see was public health, when we get involved, the city knows that's our job. And so if they do that, that might create a situation where people are concerned when they shouldn't have to. So we do have an eye on this in the area as well. And I think I've already talked to council about the time. Probably at some point we're going to need to attach this well to the. So for now, there's no concern that I can.
When I saw that note, I just, was a little concerned as far as my ability to the township.
Yeah, no, I think what they're doing is going to be okay.
Thank you.
The one comment I just wanted to make to council too is like on this, like the water reports, whether it's for Old Bear or the different hamlets. Like I was just discussing this with Chris and Cassandra earlier today, like instead of us having Chris Stroke show up to every meeting. It would be nice if anybody had any questions or concerns, just to let Cassandra know ahead of time. And then that way she can arrange that Chris is going to be available. Instead of wasting his time too. I mean, everybody has a life and if there's absolutely nothing on the report or any concern or question, maybe just having him on Zoom. If council's okay with that idea.
And your worship, if there was something that we did pick up that was of
Concern.
bigger concern, we would have off.
Are you suggesting that you're covering my back all the time?
I'm covering council's.
Well, that's good. I guess, but I am part of that, aren't I?
Sure.
Thank you. And do appreciate that. Because as much as nobody wants to terrify anybody, we are all responsible for these reports and the information in them. And if we're not dealing with things properly, we can all be held personally liable, I guess, at some point. We have a resolution on that one?
We do have a resolution.
Okay. And again, I need mover and seconder.
You already have one.
Oh, do we? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I read the,
Okay, all those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objections, carried. Start talking so long, I forget about studies. All the paperwork. I must have drinking too much that night. Guess the next one.
let's see.
So we have the old tire inspection report.
We just did that one, Mr. Mayor.
I thought so. So the one, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna get Lisa, our Assistant Director of Recreation. She provided us with a report, or and we want to have her, maybe speak on that soon.
Oh, so there's a motion, Mr. Mayor, and again, it's just for information.
Yeah, okay.
We did think it'd be worthwhile for the Assistant Director to join us this evening, should council have any questions. But right now, if I can have a mover and seconder.
I think we're gonna move in second, Councilor Diamond and Councilor Gabbard.
Moved by Councillor Guyer, seconded by Councillor Gavin. That council receives the Assistant Director of Recreation Executive Assistant Report ABR 2023-001 as information.
Does council have any questions for the recreation assistant? Yes, Councilor Diamond.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Question and comment. First question is, under the report, because of a budget of 10 and expenses of 82. In the budget, is that 5,000 coming in from Canada Day, or is that like a grant that we are receiving? Like, what's our expenses for the total?
Yes, Madam Clerk. Go ahead, speak, please.
Do you want me to speak on
Sure,
it, Lisa?
yeah.
Okay, so if I can, Mr.
Yes.
Director, with Councillor Diamond. So the entire budget, the council has expense or is prepared to recognize $10,000 to put on the Canada Day. Sorry, between the Canada Day and the fireworks, $10,000, which is reflected in your budget as an expense.
Is it, and I think the second part of the question was, is there any grants received regarding that, or is that strictly our operational budget fund?
Strictly operational budget.
That part of your question, Councilor?
Yeah. And then my next comment, Mr. Mayor, my comment is, I think the idea is great. I hope that many more local businesses get on board. Because the idea of a small fee for tickets, I don't want to deter anybody from showing up. So if we could have as many residents and businesses that believe in us and participate in this, then we can make it, I would rather be free than a fee. So we'll put that out to everybody. That's my comment.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions? Yes,
I
Councilman.
just have a comment that it's a fantastic idea to bring them back. Because they used to be fun and the whole township would participate, everybody being. Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Lisa. And, yes. Councilman. Oh. Somebody else.
No, what I was gonna say, was thinking about this, it was happening 4 years that we have another great identification. We've recently seen in the town. We'll add to this. Next year, the plan is, there's other grants available. What I'd like to see is the fireworks number go up. So I'll tell you what in place in Charlton and Dap and mind you, they partner with Venture and Chamberlain. They have been using incredible foundation this year. They're using drones. So this is getting to know. So challenges to loosen. Next year you'll see something.
This sounds like more of my old work time. So the companies say do more with less. Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, just concerning Canada Day. I'm looking at, again, I think what Councillor Diamond said, as far as trying to get community organizations on board. Because I think before COVID hit, for about 5 years, we ran at the arena, the bounty tents, and we did everything for free. That was something we wanted to do as our community. I'm just wondering if there's any way we can try to encourage the community to plug in to actually what's going to be the arena, but to offer other alternatives as well for people to, the arena is a great place, the rain or shine.
Yeah.
One. But again, for funding for what the township is looking to do. I mean, I know that Rick Anthony may just running a barbecue and doing free, never saw dogs pop in water again, setting that up down here, the fireworks. I think if there's community, groups and organizations that are willing to take on some of these events as far as for costs, that might reduce the expenses for the township.
Any other questions or comments regarding the report? Lisa, do you want to add anything?
Not really. I think it's all there. We're still in the works though, because of that grant and everything. Also, that's why it says like for the evening part, like to be determined, because I'm working very diligently to find something that's all inclusive for all ages and something to bring everyone downtown so that then it's down to the fireworks and everything.
Have you got many volunteers?
That's a solid, no.
No, just asking.
Yeah. So,
I'd be more than happy to help you with whatever I can do.
thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm sure we have our summer students that we could find a way to involve them somehow.
Yes, my fingers are crossed for that as well.
I'm not sure what the ramifications of all that would be, but we can find a way to make things happen, right?
Whatever Lisa, she has summer student, she. It's all good.
Yes,
Summer
Councilman.
students too, they can get some good volunteer hours.
So sometimes try to convince them that's a good idea though. For some reason, they seem to all need them, but whenever you're looking for them, and I mean, I can remember even during election campaigns, which also, as you know, whether it's a partisan situation or not, during those campaigns, when you're looking for bodies, whether it's to put signs up or take them down and stuff, and I've offered that opportunity for students, and they're all not. It's amazing, but you know, when you're right, but at least we gotta throw it out there and see. Now, whether we do it through the school or whatever, however you win, it's a good idea.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's been read.
Okay, so I guess we better get somebody to vote on it then. All those in favor of the resolution accept the report. Seeing no objections, carried. I know you try to keep me on track, but I never, I always feel like it. The next one will be bylaws, correct?
Yes.
So 10A is Okay, and you move her to seconder. By Councillor Gattery and Councillor George,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
please.
Just for council's information, so the next three bylaws, the water, the sewer, and the solid fees. These are all bylaws directly related to the utility budget that was passed. So these are just the bylaws now reflecting the new rates that council has passed.
Yes, Councillor Down.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I ask a question now, or you want me to wait?
I'll just read the motion.
Okay,
Moved by Councillor Gattery and seconded by Councillor Druid, that bylaw number 2023-22, being a bylaw to authorize the levying of water fees and charges, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 11th day of April 2023.
Yes, Councillor Down.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to confirm, because I've been asked quite a few times, but A, B, and C is for 1 year only. This isn't a 4-year
Nope.
budget.
Yes,
If I can, Mr. Mayor,
Please.
Council. So council has strictly just adopted rates for 2023 only. Although it's a multi-year, all this does is it shows your financial position based on your decision this year and how it affects you in upcoming years. But each year it's brought back up to you.
Thank you.
for that final decision.
Yes.
Any other questions? If not, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor of the resolution? Seeing no objection, carried. Water, now we're going to go into the one for sewage, correct?
Yes.
Mover to seconder, Councillor Diamond and Councillor Gattery.
Moved by Councillor Diamond, seconded by Councillor Gattery, that bylaw number 2023-23, being a bylaw to authorize the levying of sewage fees and charges, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 11th day of April 2023.
Same situation. Any questions from council? If not, I'll ask for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried. And we also have one, we have another one here, solid waste, right?
Yes.
Mover to seconder again, Councillor Neal and Councillor Jordan.
Moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Jordan, that bylaw number 2023-24, being a bylaw to authorize the levying of recycling solid waste fees and charges, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 11th day of April 2023.
Questions regarding the resolution? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Seeing no objection, carried. Item C. You can move on to second again. Vacancy.
Yes.
Councillor Gattery and Councillor Jordan.
Moved by Councillor Gattery, seconded by Councillor Jordan, that bylaw number 2023-25, being a bylaw to adopt a municipal council vacancy policy, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 11th day of April 2023.
Cass, can you speak to this violence regarding it?
So
I know we have a report on it.
So actually, this is the first time that council is going to be passing an actual policy with regards to council vacancies. In the last term of council, it was strictly just a procedure passed by resolution that council followed for their term. But seeing as this is becoming potentially a little bit more predominant, we wanted to have a policy drafted and adopted by council. So council, you also understand how this occurs. And again, as you've been advised, when there is a vacancy on council, you have two different ways to fill it. You can either fill it by appointment and we have drafted a process for you, or you can fill it by a by-election. And again, this is your discretion as a body of council to make that decision. You've already made your decision at the last meeting that you are going to do it by appointment. So we have it open until April 18th for applications to be received, and we have received applications. Following the closing date on the 18th, based on this policy, should you pass it this evening, the CAO and clerk will reach out to council just to find out what some of the questions you potentially would like to ask the applicants that have applied. The CAO and clerk, will then put those questions together. Not necessarily will we take your questions, but they might draw some ideas And then at the following council meeting, we'll begin the process for appointing your next council member to represent Ward 4. How it's usually done in the past is we make it the last item of business at your next council meeting. You can appreciate that this individual has not had an opportunity to review the agenda, so it'd be a disadvantage to have something at the beginning of the meeting and then expect this person to make decisions. They also are not aware of their procedures and how to conduct themselves properly. Not that they wouldn't be able to, but as you know, there is decorum. So we make it the last item on the agenda. The process should work very. That's used from the last council. The major change was after 3 rounds. Should council not be able to make a decision as to who to appoint, potentially the mayor could have made the decision. We've removed that provision from your procedure, just because it could imply that the mayor has superpowers, if you will, which we don't want to do that. So however, based on how the process has been drafted, we do feel that you'll be able to be successful, if not in round 1 and round 2.
And my one comment on it is I'm actually happy that you have it set up where you have, so it's individuals. Instead of individuals being queried on their own and not a group of people sitting there and listening and waking or just each one of them get interrogated individually. Any questions or concerns regarding the policy or the bylaw? And seeing none, all those in favor of the bylaw? Seeing no objections, carried. Thanks, Cass. And Chris, thanks for putting something together for us. And hopefully this isn't going to be a habitual situation with this council. Unfortunately, we've lost one as it is. You gotta meet, right? We've got a bylaw regarding the establishment of a recreation advisory committee. I need a mover to seconder again. Councillor Rondo and Councillor Gathering.
Moved by Councillor Rondo, seconded by Councillor Gathering, that bylaw number 2023-27, being a bylaw to establish a recreation advisory committee, be read a first, second, and third time and finally pass this 11th day of April 2023.
And if I'm correct, we asked you to bring this back so we could amend it, correct?
Yes. It's been amended to reflect 2 members of council.
Right.
As opposed to 1.
Was there any other concerns regarding the original? Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, where do we stand on the 4 members of the public?
Do we have any extra? Yes.
So if I can, Mr. Mayor, you have 1 member of the public right now appointed to it. The other, we have received another application from another member. We just didn't have the opportunity to bring it to this meeting or we brought to the next council meeting. So in addition to the one you appointed last meeting, you have then 1 other person who was applied.
Just only 2 more than.
Yes.
And if anybody can browbeat anybody else in their wards or whatever, please do. Because you know what, if we don't have enough interested people, we can't have a proper committee and Lisa won't get the help she needs. So. There's no further comments on the bylaw or the resolution, I should say, in the bylaw. All those in favor of the bylaw as written. Seeing no objection, carried. That'll be my swallow. About that. Next item is we're moving into unfinished business. It's an updated regular council meeting schedule update for 2023. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Neal and Councillor George.
Moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Joy, that council updates the 2023 regular council meeting schedule to reflect the addition of the community halls on the following dates. Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 at the Shillington Community Hall. Tuesday, September 26th, 2023 at the Raymore Community Hall. And Tuesday, November 14th, 2023 at the Valvania Community Hall.
Any questions regarding the resolution? If none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Seeing no objections, carried. And then we're going to move into other business. an environmental farm plan workshop opportunity, I guess. We got, need to move in a seconder again as usual. I need Councillor Rondo and Councillor Gadry.
Moved by Councillor Rondo, seconded by Councillor Gadri, that council approve of the following individuals to attend the EFP workshop in Balgonier on April 19th and April 26th.
There's some bond attached to this, or do we need some more information, or? Anyone interested? Councillor Bannon?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's not a volunteer, that's a question.
Put them down as volunteer.
My first question is this necessary that councillors attend this? And my second question would be, because this to me, when I look at it was more of a land use / planning, wouldn't our CAO be the ideal person to attend this? Where someone is more knowledgeable about the actual land prior to it becoming farmland or its use,
Volunteer.
kind of.
Yes, Chris.
This is, it's not required for council members to attend.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an information thing. Frankly, if I have time, I'm going. Sorry, we get these things, and I think it's important to bring to the council in case they have a specific interest. What they want to attend.
I know that personally, the one day I'm not available. Yes, Councillor Bannon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I don't see any use in this from my chair.
Okay, yes, Councillor Neil?
We should just ask the question if this was something that has happened previously and it is as. So is this someone in the community that has brought this organization in, or is that something that the township has brought into?
Ask, can you speak to that?
Actually, if I, so Mr. Mayor, you're the one who asked that investigation.
Yes.
So you would have the background on it.
Well, all I know about it is the NECN has put this forward as an opportunity to educate and whatever, and that's about all I know about. And I seen Councillor Gallery had her hand up.
No,
Oh. You just wanted to go. So there's no councillors that necessarily wish to attend. And unfortunately, I know one of the dates I'm not available, so I can't put my name down either. So I guess, so basically, we just withdraw the resolution.
Yeah, if there's 2/3 of the members present that agree to remove the motion from the table, we'll just remove it.
We don't have any attendees, no one's having a resolution. All of it, everyone in favor, show of hands in favor to withdraw the resolution. Withdraw. Thank you. And rightly so, if there's no real benefit in attending, everybody's time is pretty important and it's pretty limited. Only at least. I hate to miss any opportunities, but
Not just me.
I find it's hard to believe that we can actually have another resolution here that's going to be for the agenda. I know. I need to move into second. See lots of hands. Councillor Neil and Councillor Rondo.
Moved by Councillor Neil, seconded by Councillor Rondo, that this regular meeting of council is hereby adjourned at 7:08 p.m.
New record. All those in favor?
That's about 5 or 6 days late for America, so.
Well, thank you all. That was that.